Welcome to the Mug Hub podcast, the ultimate platform for all things related to medicine's use, patient care, and the incredible world of pharmacy. We are your hosts, Connor and Sian, and we're thrilled to have you join us today.
Here at the Mug Hub podcast, we're passionate about empowering future pharmacists, expanding your knowledge and igniting your curiosity. Whether you're a first year embarking on your pharmacy journey or a final year getting ready to go out into practice, this podcast is designed just for you.
Across our series, we delve into 4 captivating themes that will take you on an enlightening and entertaining journey. From exploring intriguing clinical topics to showcasing the extraordinary individuals who make up our incredible teams, we're here to unlock the secrets of the pharmacy world.
So grab your favourite mug, settle in, and let's embark on an incredible voyage together. Get ready to be inspired, educated and motivated as we unlock the vast potential of pharmacy and the vital role it plays in healthcare.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Mug Hub podcast. We're in season 2 now, which is exciting, and we've got a really special guest with us today. We've got Dr. Jon Mabley, who is the incoming MPharm course lead, which is fantastic. So congratulations, Jon.
Thank you for that.
And also, we'll probably end up talking a little bit about your previous role as well as Year 4 assistant course lead.
Yes, that's what the previous year.
Yeah, so thank you for joining us. I think it's probably a good place to start for our listeners in terms of what is your job role and what kind of activities do you get up to?
So as assistant course leader, I was assistant course leader for Year 4 of the MPharm program. And my duties basically responded about ensuring that year ran smoothly, rolled out very, very well, and to also act as a conduit between the students and providing their feedback about how the course is going, what things were happening, etc., and then pass that on to upper management, that either the course leader or potentially the module leaders as well, to ensure that the students have a say in their particular course. But yeah, now incoming as the course leader, it is now taking that to sort of the next level. So I will be providing oversight for all 4 years of the MPharm program, and essentially ensuring that it runs out smoothly for the students.
Sounds good. So presumably then, somebody is stepping into the assistant course leader Year 4 role when you leave. Yes. Who's that?
That's Yusuf.
Okay. And I'm going to just quickly ask you a question about the new degree, if that's okay.
That's fine.
The degree that you'll be overseeing. Yeah. So
Test your knowledge.
Test your knowledge. Oh, we could do that, shall we?
No,
that's mean. So what do you see are the benefits of the course, the new course as it's being delivered at the moment? Obviously, you saw Year 4, so you will have seen a lot about the old style degree, and things have changed a bit in the new year coming up and the new degree. So
it has, yes. So the new course has changed very dramatically, and this is in response to the General Pharmaceutical Council and the response for the fact that the pharmacists that will be graduating this year will be the first graduates from the University of Brighton that will be able to prescribe. So the new course, as it's rolled out right now, has been designed so that to support students in that role of being able to be prescribers. And so as a result of that, we have a much more skills-based curriculum. It has a lot more placements, so the students get to go out and actually almost do the job before they actually get into the actual workplace themselves once they've graduated, and they get to see all aspects of pharmacy, being able to go out on placements to both community and hospital, as well as GP. So the new degree is, as I said, very skills-based, and really is very different to what we've run before. So, we've had probably about a 4-fold increase in the placement time on the new degree. And as we've gone forward, because of the prescribing, we've also developed much more simulation activities that they undertake. And as a result of that, we have brand new simulation suites with simulated patients that we now use for the students. So yes, it has been a very dramatic change, but I think that the students like that.
I think they do. I think we've all seen lots of positive feedback from students, and And it's an exciting new course. So you've got to be quite excited to be the leader of such a course.
It is, yes. It's a change. It's a big step up from just running from 1 year to running all 4 years, alongside all the other requirements from the university in terms of running the course. We obviously are regulated by the GPHC, but obviously the university has a say in how we run the actual degree as well. So, but yes, it should be an exciting and interesting time.
Cool. I bet there's loads of exciting paperwork that comes alongside it.
Exciting paperwork.
Well,
Absolutely,
yeah,
yes.
I bet there is. So what does a typical day or week look like for you? If you think, I guess you can answer this only from the role that you're doing at the moment.
From the ACL role, year 4, the typical week would be whatever lectures, etc., that I would be providing on the various modules that we ran across the course. I lecture pretty much into every year of the MPharm program. It also involves project students and progressing those through their actual 4th year research project. So there will be lab supervisions and things like that. And then related to the ACL role, there will be, I suppose not quite a typical week, but at least once per term, we would be meeting with the student cohort for allowing them to provide feedback to us about how things are going. I would meet regularly with the student representatives for year 4. And then it's also, as people may know, something called the National Student Survey, which for 4th year ACLs is quite a big deal. It's a big deal for the course leader as well. But the National Student Survey, where the students actually rate their degree program over the last 4 years in an external survey, it's very important for us to actually ensure that students complete that so that we actually get their feedback, which is incredibly valuable for developing the course and improving the course and improving the whole student experience.
It's quite an involved role, isn't it? Is that unique to the pharmacy degree, or do other degrees have a similar structure in terms of ACLs? We're not unique. So there are other large courses that also have ACLs. So I think biomedical science does, because again, it's one of the second largest, or possibly the largest course now within the school. So yes, the ones with the very large student cohort really do need that second layer of communication with the students, because the course leader would become overwhelmed if he was dealing with or if they were dealing with all 4 years, and that would just not give a good experience for the students. The students need to be, you wouldn't be able to respond to the students as fast as we do now with the ACLs. I mean, it's great for students to know that these extra communication layers exist and there are different people that they can speak to. In terms of, obviously, so ACL sits underneath the course lead. I just wonder, in terms of how can students contact people and who should they be contacting if they have issues?
Well, we usually advise students that if they have issues regarding their studies as a whole, etc., to contact their personal academic tutor. So their personal academic tutor, which they have for all 4 years, will know them very well and should be able to help them, point them in any support services that they may require from the University of Brighton, or anything sort of related to that issues. In terms of if they have questions or comments or issues with the actual, perhaps, module that they're studying, then they can obviously go to the module leader or potentially the actual then ACL for that particular year. And then usually, again, they can point them in the right direction if they can't solve the problem themselves. And potentially at some point there could be an elevation to the course leader. But usually the assistant course leaders can handle most problems and sort that out for the student.
I was at an introduction talk to our foundation and preparatory year students, and Roy Gilfillian was giving a talk as our SSGT, our student support guidance tutor, and I was quite amazed at how much support there is there from the university. So you've just sort of talked about what happens within the course structure.
Yeah.
But even beyond that, there's so many services that students can tap into if they feel that they need some extra support. It's
Absolutely. So we're very good at running, obviously, the support within the school in terms of supporting their academic development. And the university also provides something called the Brighton Study Hub, which all helps to support their academic side of things. But we do support their personal side as well. So yes, we have, they can talk to their personal academic tutors who can refer them, and even they can approach directly the SSGTs, and they perform an excellent service in terms of being able to help them with their potential mental health and welfare, etc., and also guiding them if they have even financial issues or things like that. The university has support services. We're also lucky that our Brighton Student Union is also superb. So I mean, it's really good. So they have open door policies. Students can go and talk to them about anything at all, and again, they provide excellent support.
And I think on top of that, we had one of the volunteers from pharmacy support as well, pharmacist support on the podcast. So there's all that support internally, but actually there's still some extra support that's available externally as well.
You're right.
Yeah, I mean, they can become free members of the Royal Pharmaceutical Society as students, which is obviously the union for pharmacists as well.
All right, John. So I can see the role as an assistant course leader, associate course leader, assistant course leader. Why now make the jump to being course leader then? What's prompted that change?
It's from the fact I've been sort of fourth year ACL now for about 3 years. The position of course leader has become available quite recently. I was involved in developing the actual new course as such. I was part of the course development team, particularly in the actual content and the areas that we were going to be delivering in that. So it seemed a logical step in terms of the career-wise to actually take on the course leadership and to have probably a much more hands-on role in being able to deliver a course that I was heavily involved in developing. I think that it's, I mean, whenever you develop something, you obviously want it to be successful. And I think now I will have a little bit more influence. So I think it was going to be successful anyway, but I'll have a little bit more hands-on thing to actually ensure that will actually go forward, and it, we will successfully, roll out this new degree, and we will have our first cohort of prescribers graduating this year.
Yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't underestimate, the role of the course leader there in seeing the vision through, because something can look successful on paper, but there's going to be a lot of work that needs to be done, and organisation and delegation of work to make sure that it actually does happen. So and it is, and also it's big shoes to fill. I mean, Dr. Chatterjee, who is our outgoing course leader, has left us in a position where we're ranked, number 3 in the Guardian for School of Pharmacies. I think we can probably be number 2, and there's no reason why we can't be number 1, but number 2 is well within reach. So we are in a very good position, and the university itself has gone up in the rankings, both in the Times and in the Guardian, in terms of its overall ranking. So we're in a strong position. You're joining when we're on the up.
Yes.
Good times.
Yes, yeah.
How long was Charlie course leader? Was he been?
I think it's been 5 years.
Okay.
I'd say, probably longer than that even. I think we're probably following 5 or 6 years. 6 maybe.
I remember a chat. He was in one of the talks about the graduating year that's coming up. I can't remember if that was last summer or the summer before, where he's saying this is the first lot that he was course leader for. So, it's either 5 or 6 years, which is a long time. And like you said, obviously, done a fantastic job to get us where we're at, and you can take that mantle and get us to number 1, hopefully.
Certainly can try.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm really interested. I'm going to go off piste a little bit, because obviously we're talking about coming into course lead, but I mean, we've had lunch together many times, and I think our listeners would be really interested to hear a little bit about your career path, because you've done some really exciting things over the years, and obviously what got you into academia, but obviously your research path, if you just wanted to give us some career highlights that might be exciting to know.
Yeah, I can do. Yes, I mean, my original degree was in pharmacology, so I'm not actually a pharmacist. I'm a pharmacologist, and I got that degree from Cardiff University before doing a PhD, and I was interested in nitric oxide and diabetes, and so I took a PhD in University of Sussex, and then once completed that, disappeared off to America. So I went to America to do a postdoc, which I did for 1 year at the University of Kentucky, and that was quite fun. And then I suppose, sold out to the dark side. I then moved to a drug company, which I spent then in the United States 5 years in a drug company. It was an unusual system in the United States because the drug company was well funded by research grants. So we had to do research as well as obviously doing the company side. And so those 5 years were incredibly productive. So I was working for a person who was in the top 10 in the world most cited pharmacologists.
Wow.
And then sort of during that period, I published about 60 or 70 papers about 5 years.
Busy.
Well, I always joked about the fact that in one particular year we published 19 papers. And we were disappointed. And the reason why we were disappointed is that we'd set the target that year of getting a paper in every calendar year. And we missed April.
No.
But we got all the others. I was pretty much young and very motivated at the time. So it was a very successful period.
What's your publication rate now?
An awful lot lower. Maybe one every 2 or 3 years, which is not bad.
Yeah,
but,
you're still doing it.
But yeah, I mean, you can't. Yeah, it's difficult to compare because obviously, in the United States, the grants are very heavy. The amount of money that we have or we had was vast. So I mean, yeah, it's a completely sort of different environment.
What kind of things what were your papers?
We were mainly looking at something called poly-ADP ribose polymerase inhibitors. So this is an enzyme that's involved in DNA repair. And so we were able to sort of look at this enzyme, and the one paper which I'm particularly proud of is one that we got into Nature Medicine related to this role of this enzyme in diabetic cardiovascular complications. So that was a quite exciting piece of work. But these inhibitors were very good, and we did actually manage to get one into a phase 1 clinical trial, which it passed. And we got it into phase 2 to look at it for myocardial infarction. Unfortunately, it was no better than anything else on the market, so there was no point in taking it further at that point. But certainly, as working as part of that drug company, getting a drug into phase 1 clinical trials and then into phase 2 was actually, I'm pretty proud of that as well, in terms of doing the preclinical side of things. In terms of moving to academia, I'd like to say that it was a conscious decision. I suppose it was a conscious decision, but essentially when I was working in the United States, my 5-year visa was up. So it was either get a green card and become an American citizen, which I really didn't fancy at the time, or return to the United Kingdom. So I just looked around and applied to University of Brighton, and the rest is history.
Wow.
20 years later.
Did you think that were you actively looking at universities for roles, or were you looking at drug companies, or was it just anything at that point?
The drug company I was working for was very unique because of those grants, which meant that even though we had to do drug company work, we could do whatever research we liked, and it was funded. And I'm very research oriented. So if I was wanting to continue my research and to go into areas that perhaps I wanted to work on, then academia was really the only option. Going into industry, I would have had to have, worked on whatever drugs they were working on, and not necessarily what I was interested in. So academia was a choice from that point of view. Yeah. So I was looking to get lectureships, etc., to actually continue my research career, as well as obviously start my lecturing and teaching career, which again was a bit unusual. I didn't know if I was going to like it, and in fact, actually enjoy that an awful lot in terms of seeing students develop their skills, and when they come in not know so much about pharmacy and pharmacology, etc., and then to see them crossing the stage at the end is actually it's as great a feeling as when you publish a paper. So it's as simple as that.
I was trying to explain this to my children the other day, because they were both saying, I can't understand why anybody would go into teaching. I said, it's such a nice feeling when you teach or you see a student who didn't understand something one day and then they understand it the next, or they weren't enthusiastic about it and then they develop it. It's such a nice feeling, that light bulb moment. Yeah. They could not get it at all.
No, I kind of also think from a personal level, when you're marking exam questions and like somebody's got it, you're like,
yes. It feels good.
It feels really good to kind of know that you've made a difference in somebody's knowledge base.
Yeah, certainly. And when you see them almost as, when you want every student to obviously pass, and we want that. But you do have a more of a connection perhaps with the ones you see as your personal tutor, and so you see them quite a lot, and that is quite rewarding to see them come through. And even at the end of last year, to get the emails from students who have said, thank you, because I passed the exam and I didn't think I would, but your lectures were really useful and such. I think, well, good, yeah. I'm glad
I don't get those emails. I don't. Have you ever had one of those emails, Connor?
No.
Okay. Something to aim for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to sit in some of your lectures and see what it is that you do differently.
Maybe.
I mean, this huge career goals that you've achieved, and moving into academia, assistant course lead, now course lead. I'm sure research is still on the cards. What's next for you, as well as taking on the course leadership role? It
is. So yes, apart from the course leadership role, it would be it is to continue the research. Again, we're talking about student achievements. One of my PhD students just recently passed her Viva, and this is a student that actually did the MPharm program, did her research project with me in the MPharm program, and then did a PhD with me.
Wow.
So they have got a lot of exciting data. So we're looking to take that further with grant applications and obviously publications as well. So yes, research will absolutely stay in the near future, stay in my sort of goals to be able to continue with that alongside running out the course. So yeah.
What is your for students going into third or fourth year? What is your research interest now at the university?
I'm more into sort of still diabetes. So I did my PhD in diabetes, and I've kept that interest now for more years than I care to imagine. But so still looking at diabetic complications, and I'm more into hepatic complications these days. So we look at liver complications. So diabetics have an increased risk of developing liver disease. And we're looking at why that is and whether there's anything we can do to actually reduce that risk. And so there's a lot of stuff.
Why that is.
Why that is. I
thought it was a drug name or something.
I thought you said we're looking at wide alleys.
Why that is. Sorry, that's probably my...
That's your Kentucky accent.
I should probably
again.
To be fair, yes. I mean, in terms of coming back from America, you might be able to... I've always been told that you can't tell what my accent is if I'm on the end of a answer phone, etc. So maybe here my accent might be a bit mixed up. But then people said when in person they can still hear the Welsh in it.
Oh my God, you're so Welsh.
Oh really?
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, it's a very strong. Yeah,
you think so?
Yeah.
That's because I'm South Wales. That doesn't usually have very strong.
No,
so
it's coming through thick and fast today.
Yeah. But I still say elevator and restroom.
Do you?
I do.
Huh.
I have never got out of that in 20 years. And I still wear baseball caps.
I've noticed that. I have noticed that. Yeah. All right. If you could offer a student pharmacist one piece of advice, what would it be?
It would be to enjoy the course and obviously study hard. That is obvious, but to also enjoy life as a student, make friends, talk to the other people in the group, in the year groups, etc. But make the most of these 4 years because you are a student. You are doing something that hopefully that you really want to be. This is really what your interest is, and this is this is your career goals and such like. But as I said, work hard, but enjoy it as well.
I love that.
There's a lot of,
yeah.
Because as I said, we have a very strong pharmacy society which runs lots of events, etc. Have fun as well as do the studying.
I love it, and enjoy that fact that you are in the top 3 places to study pharmacy in the UK.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's not to enjoy there?
Yeah,
surrounded by like-minded people.
Yeah,
I mean, people make lifelong friends at university, don't they? So
they do. Yeah.
They could be career advisors. They could be people you call up and be like, "What do I do here?" Or
yeah, exciting times.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for coming in to talk to us. That's
no problem at all.
Been fascinating. I didn't know about your time in Kentucky and what happened there.
And then the joke was in Boston, so we did move from Kentucky. So,
yeah. Interesting.
But yeah, cool.
And good luck.
Thank you very much.
And that brings us to the end of another captivating episode of the Mug Hub podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's discussion and took away valuable insights that will fuel your passion for pharmacy.
Remember to subscribe to our podcast and stay tuned for future episodes where we continue to explore fascinating clinical topics, introduce you to incredible individuals and enhance your skills to bridge the gap from bench to bedside.
If you've any questions, topic suggestions, or you'd like to get involved, we'd love to hear from you. Connect with us via our social media platforms or send us an email.
Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep engaging with your studies. Thank you for joining us at the Mug Hub Podcast.